about Product Logistics and our new listeners, you operate from three pillars: culture, service, and tech. And we're talking about culture today. So how would you compare, just because you're the owner and founder, Brian, like how would you compare your culture maybe to some other similar businesses in the industry? Like how would you make a distinction between Product Logistics and other organizations? I'm just curious.
I mean, not to be, obviously I'm a PortX fan because I am PortX, but I've never experienced anything like what we're doing in our entire industry. I don't think, you read about people have ping pong tables and they have beer in the office. And they don't do what we do. They don't have somebody there to support them 24/7. There's not the continuous improvement programs. There's not the, we're going to use this as a teaching moment. We're not going to yell at the person and say what are you doing and why did you do it? We're going to show them this is the way that we do things and the way that we lead. And I think the biggest thing is being a good human at the end of the day. And the people recognize that. Customers, employees, vendors, it gets lost in our industry, especially because it's pumping out how many trucks, how many deliveries, yelling at the drivers or the warehouse. Like that's just pervasive through the industry, and it's just not what we do.
Right. I would say, again, I talked a little bit about my experience, and I've worked for Fortune 500s, but I've also worked for smaller organizations throughout the course of my career. And I've also helped other organizations, as an executive coach, to develop culture and do cultural shifts. And I can't remember any other organization that actually has the amount of follow through and the day-to-day soft touches amongst yourselves, like internally, which then translates to success externally. And I think that's really the key that I've learned is like support the people internally, like those soft touches, like what do you need to be successful? We talk about strengths, we talk about emotional intelligence, we look for the goodness in people, we understand that people are humans. And I think that whole dynamic of positivity and inspiration and motivation and support has really been the foundation of the culture that you created and the leadership team has created at PortX, which I think is quite amazing in 3 years. To do that is pretty profound.
And, I think everybody, we get passionate at times and you get, heated about certain things. But in general, I mean, our whole team, leadership team, right through everybody, we really take great pride in what we do. We love what we do. We have fun at what we do. I mean, it's unlike any other work that I've ever done. Like there's so much pride in the work, and the people take so much pride in what they're doing at PortX. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Well, we use the Strengths Finder within PortX, and part of that assessment tool is engagement. And the reason why you use a Strengths Finder is to improve engagement. And I think we can see that working, right? So we really work to engage people based on what they're naturally good at. So we've recently promoted a couple people internally to different positions based on what they're good at. And you can see, like, even in those promotions, there's like a really strong engagement, and then the support of the rest of the team and how they're all coming together on the back end to support those two people as they move up. Which I think is another dynamic of the culture, and kind of like that family dynamic, which is really cool. Really cool. Anything else, Brian, that you want to talk about in terms of culture, how challenging it can be to actually create it, and any of your experiences?
Yeah, I don't know how to put in words how difficult it is. I mean, before we were on here, I was like, I don't know, like if you took a 25-year-old off the street that is a new employee, they have no clue how much work goes into this on the back end to create this environment and create these bingos. And then on the other side of it, a 55 or 60-year-old that has gone and grown up in corporate America and is now sitting in a C-suite as a CFO or CEO, they're going to have some 3-day program or maybe even 3-month program and think they're going to change the world. It doesn't happen like that.
No.
And, that is the one thing that we call it the continuous improvement program, right? Like we are in it every day, every week, every month. And I just think that that's something that's lost in the business world, is people just don't realize how truly difficult it is to do this. And I'm extremely proud that we've pulled it off. It's tough,
Yeah.
but that was the vision from the get-go, and we've stayed committed, and we're seeing the fruits of our labor.
Yeah, I've been part of that experience that you're talking about, right? Working for big corporations, and they come up with this idea of, we're going to attach this program onto the employees, and we're going to shift this culture, and we're going to move in this direction, and it never seems to work. Or they implement some,
And a gimmick.
what's that?
They implement a gimmick.
Yeah, but then there's nothing to support it on the back end. They don't get the buy-in. They don't have coaches like myself there every single day, you there every single day, and the leadership team there believing in the process every single day, like supporting and holding it up and reminding people, right? Like, how much time and energy do you and I and the leadership team put into some of the initiatives that, some of the changes in process, right? Some of the brand ambassador initiatives that we put into place, like just process improvement, because we know that that's going to make the company more successful. Like, it's just a constant grind. And I don't mean grind in a bad way, but just this constant reiteration of bringing everything full circle. Like, if we do this internally, this is how it creates results externally. And I think that's part of the culture, where big corporations, I just don't think they can do it because they don't have enough. They haven't invested in support people like myself, or they try and have their managers or leaders in their different silos. If they don't have the buy-in, so it all falls flat, which is really unfortunate. And I think then people's cultural experiences are, it's just a job, not an experience. And like you always say, we're trying to change people's lives and have an impact on people's lives, which I think we do in a really cool way at Portex.
Yeah, no, we do.
Give ourselves
And we write it down. We write the plan down, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, and we're never done. And then we go back and look at the plan. Hey, do we need to make this adjustment? Follow up, follow up, follow up, and just continually make that incremental improvement. But it is probably one of the most gratifying things that I've ever done, but also one of the most difficult. It's easy to move freight or sell somebody on something, but in order to make everybody move in the same direction and row the boat in the same direction and create that culture and that family, especially as we get bigger, it's a really, really difficult task. But I'm really proud that we've pulled it off.
for sure. But we all believe in it, right? And I think that's the key. Like, if you all believe in it and you can see that it works and you see the benefits, I mean, I know I'm certainly all in with anything that we do together, because I see the effect on the people, because I'm with them day to day, and just supporting them as human beings and showing them some care and love. Like, the appreciation and the gratitude that you get from that is really cool from my perspective. So, anything else, Brian, on your mind about culture today and leadership?
No, I think it's been a great week of bingos, and we're going to go collect more, and maybe one of these days we'll end this with a rolling list of bingos.
That would be very cool. Let's put that on our list of things that we want to add to this program.
All right.
So for all of you out there, thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to YouTube at portexlogistics.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at dionnekress.com, and follow Portex Logistics on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we'll talk to you again soon.